foremost that what is going on?
What is that? It's like
I can't even stop that. What is
What is wrong with Blog Talk tonight? What is
Oh
up
my
with
God! I need to have a talk with Brady. I need to find out what's going on here.
It's not even Brady doing it. I mean, come on, man. What's up? What's up with this Blog Talk tonight? I mean, it's like the show finally started for us. We start talking, then the music kicks in, like after the fact. We are 8 minutes into our 1 hour already, and the music finally kicks in after it finally lets us on.
Wait a minute.
I don't get.
Wait. So we were supposed to start in 30 minutes.
8 minutes ago, originally.
Right.
But we bumped it up.
So we bumped it up because the show ended early. Well, it ended at 10:30 Eastern time. So I said, the hell with it. Let's do it now while everything is fresh in our heads. Do you think maybe switching it screwed up the? Do you think we were even talking before the show even started?
Man, I don't even know. Is Ashton Kutcher around? I feel like I'm being punked for some reason.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Just in case we were talking before and the show has officially started now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BTC Presents, the NTX Takeover Recap Show. I am your host, Ray Filipino. This is your other host, Chris Adams. Let's try to finally start this damn show. And Jesus Christ.
Oh, there'll be some editing later, won't there?
This is a PG show now, but what the F?
So, we start off with sanity, although we have none at the moment. We start off with sanity and Roderick Strong, you were saying.
We don't. We don't. This is what I feel like right now. I mean, come on. NXT TakeOver was amazing tonight, okay?
Yes.
It really was. I mean, once again, Vince, you have a lot to overcome because if, once again, your pay-per-view does not hit the caliber of TakeOver, I have lost all faith in the main roster. That's all there is to it. I have lost faith.
Well, last time we had one of these, you and I did the NXT TakeOver last time, that show by far outshone, I think it was WrestleMania, wasn't it?
It was WrestleMania weekend when you had Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura, when you had DIY versus The Revival versus the Authors of Pain. You had Asuka versus Peyton Royce versus Billie Kay versus Nikki Cross. You had Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young. I mean, no, I'm sorry. You had Ruby Riott, No Way Jose, and you had that 6-man match, 6-person, 8-person, whatever it was. But that's Eric Young versus Roderick Strong. Let's start it off with this, okay? This match, Roderick Strong, okay, I said it last week. I've said it the week before. Roderick Strong is not only fighting for himself. That man is fighting for his family now, who he's married. I can't remember what her name is, but she's one of the 4 horsewomen of the UFC. One of Ronda Rousey's best friends, okay, taking on another seasoned veteran. The man I remember coming in as Showtime Eric Young back in TNA, back when he was with Team Canada, and being the butt of the joke fighting people like ODB, which, no disrespect, ODB is one tough broad, okay? to escalating to world heavyweight champion to being the leader of a faction, which, this match was phenomenal. And I say that word a lot, but you really can't under what is the word I'm looking for? Under anything this match. You can't under anything this match. That's all I can say.
I think a lot of people may have thought going into this.
Sanity tonight.
It's beginning of this show, man. It's just wore us out here. It's crazy, but this Roderick Strong Sanity matchup, I think since it happened just this past Wednesday when they set it up, no one had any real thoughts about it because it hasn't been talked about much. Roderick Strong hasn't been talked about a lot in the last few weeks. But then he comes out and tells them he wants Sanity. He wants them now. He wants them all. And he got what he wanted. He come out to that ring and charged the two guys outside the ring and took them out early and went after Eric Young. Of course, the numbers caught up to him after a while.
Well, this has been an ongoing thing, okay, dating back to right before WrestleMania when No Way Jose and Roderick Strong all got tired of the numbers game against Ty Dillinger. Now, Roderick ended up in a number one contenders match, which, yeah, you said, we haven't really seen much out of Roddy. But, I mean, what has put him on the map in NXT thus far was his match against Hideo Itami a week or two ago?
Just this past Wednesday, wasn't it? I don't know if you had the
opportunity to see that. No, it was the Wednesday before. 2 weeks ago.
Was it? Okay.
Now, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know if you had the opportunity to actually watch that match yet. But
I saw. You know what? I did not see it. I saw this past Wednesday, and they highlighted the match a little bit. That's what I was thinking of. This Wednesday was the show ended with the Tommy and Rude confronting each other. So yeah, I did miss it. I saw the highlights of the match though when they kind of brought it up this past Wednesday.
I have no faith in you anymore to watch an NXT show.
Work during the week. I work second shift. Guy. What can I do, man? What can I do? If you're lucky, you'll find that out here soon. Huh?
Yeah, right.
Right? Right? Okay.
Right.
So you may. But so if so, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see how it feels. So it is kind of tough, though. I'll have to say. I mean, I don't get to watch all of Raw or SmackDown. I hardly ever get to watch all of 205 anymore. This night shift is really kicking my tail as far as
I'll tell you what. If I land this job, okay, I'll be working a 9 to 5, buddy. Okay.
Well, rub it in.
Which means if I land this 9 to 5, that means my interview shows will now be pushed to prime time.
That's fine too.
Who doesn't like prime time? But
that's right.
Ongoing. This match was an all-out slugfest. I mean, you see Eric hitting his wheelbarrow freaking neck breaker outside on the mat. You see Roddy and his slams. He's slam master Roddy over here. You see him take out Damo, a.k.a. Killian Black, or Greg, whatever it is. I don't remember. I just know him by Damo. And you see him take out Alexander Wolf. And Killian is actually from Pennsylvania. I have a couple friends that are mutual friends with him on Facebook that know him personally. He used to wrestle up in, the Susquehanna Wrestling Federation. But in the end, you ended up with Roderick Strong pulling out the win and getting the best of Sanity. And I haven't seen Sanity pulling off much in terms of domination anymore. It seems like people are wiping the floors with him and taking out their numbers game.
Well, it's like the I don't want to say NWO because they got larger in numbers, but when it was just the three people of NWO and people got tired of them having the numbers on 3-on-1, 4-on-1 and stuff like that, they started teaming up on them as well. I don't think Sanity will ever escalate to the point of where the ridiculousness of NWO was, but it's kind of the same anywhere you go. 3 or 4 people on 1, 3 or 4 on 2, people start getting tired of seeing it, start coming together and start taking them out at that point. It's about time it started happening some too. I think they're playing it out just right, to be honest with you. You got just enough of them, ruling the roost of triple teaming people and quadrupling people to the point to where they started putting other people in the mix. I think it's great.
Well, you really can't add more into it because right now it's just currently in NXT. Really, how many in the NXT roster can you really even consider bringing into Sanity? What, maybe one more, and that's it?
I don't know. Even if you could do that, I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine as it is. I really do.
Exactly. And I would consider them a faction because it is 3 people that wrestle, and you have actually 4 people that wrestle. We got into that conversation with factions. I would consider them a faction. It's 4 people that compete.
Right. It's all 4 of them wrestle. That's definitely a faction in my eyes.
And they've all competed together in the same match.
Right.
So, but moving. Oh, and I got to say this: you don't see many people drop an amazing elbow drop. Eric Young does just that, and there are not many people that could pull off an angle slam the same as Kurt Angle, if not better. And Roderick Strong does just that.
That he does, and that backbreaker, that form of a backbreaker that he does. I mean, it's like a code breaker to the back, basically. That's pretty rough.
Oh yeah, it's basically a lung blower backbreaker. I mean, I just watched it. I'm literally watching this, ladies and gentlemen. This takeover, I'm going to have to say, was probably the best takeover I've seen at least in a year span. And we're talking Dallas, we're talking Orlando, we're talking Brooklyn, we're talking where the hell was Survivor Series? I don't even remember.
I don't remember, but I can't say
Toronto.
that I've found one
Toronto,
any better than the other.
Yeah, it was Toronto.
I can't say
but this one here, legit, I did not have to get up and walk away for anything. I think the most I had to do was go answer my door to go get my dinner because I ordered out. Because I didn't want to cook because I didn't want to miss NXT. So this for me, if Brooklyn cannot top this, I don't know what can. And Brooklyn is the NXT takeover that everybody waits for.
Well, this definitely was quite awesome, no doubt. The crowd was definitely into it. Roderick Strong played out great in the match. This with Sanity ended up getting the win, of course, of that move you just called. That form of the backbreaker I'm talking about. It looks like he's going for a suplex, then drops him in midair, and he falls back into the knees. That is pretty rough looking right there. That's a looking like a tough one to kick out of for sure. But it was good to see him get a win over Sanity and get a little bit of revenge from the other night, or just from that was pretty cool for sure.
By the way, I would like to say that. What?
What?
What were you going to say?
No, you were going to say something about you want to say what about the match?
Oh, no, I was going to say, I just want to say, I don't know what it is, but for some weird, awkward reason, I find Ruby Riott to be highly attractive.
Yeah, that's odd. Because I don't. I
don't know what.
Not really. It's just too much for me. It's too much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with tattoos or piercings or anything, but I mean, I kind of got a limit, I guess. I don't know. It looked like a bit much for me.
Well, we're not even on her yet. Although I wouldn't mind being on her. Oh, I
knew that was coming. What?
Yep.
Who? What?
Huh?
Second match of the night. Second match of the night.
Yes, second match of the night. We had Tyler Bate defending the UK Championship in a rematch, so to speak, for the UK Championship against the bruiserweight himself, Pete Dunne. And before I even get into this match, and I'm sure you'll agree, Pete Dunne is a second coming of William Regal.
I think he's a better version of William Regal. He pulls off a
William
lot more
Regal
stuff than what
reincarnated?
William Regal does, than what William Regal could ever pull off in his youth. He pulls off a lot more stuff, and then some.
Right, but you have to look at it this way. Look at the contrast in styles because of the eras. You weren't doing back then what you're doing now. And William Regal's only 49 years old. So at the point when he was doing this 20 years ago in WCW, William Regal was maybe almost 30 years old. So Pete Dunne at that point is already 10 years younger than Regal was.
Yes, he's got a great career looking forward on him, too. Both him and Tyler Bate, too. That was a very great matchup. And let me tell you, when is the last time you ever seen an actual airplane spin done on somebody? I'm not talking about, Sheamus' partner Cesaro doing the Cesaro spin. I'm talking about an actual airplane spin on the shoulder, spinning around.
And he does
like he does it one way
and then reverses it.
Right. Yeah, he looked like he was about to pass out himself when he finally let go of him.
Right, but Tyler Bate does it, and then he stops. Looks like he's got that dizzy look, like he's going to drop down, and then lifts back up, and then goes the other direction. I saw that in the UK tournament, and I said, "What the hell is that?" Because
he's going to reverse his spin.
Right. He's really going to set your equilibrium off.
That's right. He's trying to set it back straight again so he can get the pin on him. But no, seriously, I mean, I don't know when the last time I've seen moves like that in a match, because you don't see much of that over here. That's the difference in, I guess, the English versus us and their styles of wrestling that they do. Like the announcer has said, they're more technical there for sure than what we are over here. And it shows, because they've got a lot of great technical moves, and they don't throw a lot of fists either. There's a lot of forearms, a lot of elbows, but I didn't see a lot of fists in that match until both of them stood up and started wailing on each other for about 10 seconds, and then both of them just dropped.
Well,
but overall, the match was great, though. I mean, very, very high-paced, fast-paced, a lot of fast action. A lot of good reversals pulled out of that match, too. I thought at one point Dunn was going to get that one move on Bate, and Bates turned it into a DDT. I mean, come on. That was something else.
Oh, his bitter end?
Yes.
Yeah. That bitter end is just... Well, Bate is actually... I was watching yesterday, and Pete Dunne, I was watching the UK specialist, Pete Dunne actually holds the Progress Championship as well. And
yeah, they had a picture of him in a WWF ring with that belt in his hand, or in his mouth, actually, of all places.
Right. So he's holding 2 championships right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which means WWE is allowing these guys in England to compete in other places.
Well, I mean, it's not like they have just the WWE England only over there, right? I mean, they've got their promotions over there. I guess one of their main promotions they may do, and maybe that is Progress for all we know. I don't know, but I think the WWE thing was just something they did just for, I don't know, relations with the UK crowd and the wrestling talent to get some of them over here. I think is what I think it comes down to more or less. Same thing they're pulling off with India. It's just going to be, just wrestling relations, I believe.
Right, and the same thing with Tokyo. I mean, I would love to say this much, because now that I'm looking at, what we have in time, because Blog Talk is seriously having that time a month, and Blog Talk Radio is on the rag right now.
Man. Bad night for Blog Talk.
Oh, and don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we're also on iTunes. Don't let me forget to mention that. Yeah. We're not even going to get to go to the full extent of this match as I'd like to go. Because as great as this is, we both know right now what you and I would love to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we've only got, 33 minutes to go. So
something like that. We have 33 minutes. So I'm going to say this. This match between Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne was a freaking brawl. I mean, it just I couldn't the match. If you guys caught the finals of the UK tournament back in January, and you got a taste of these two, first of all, now mind you, this match wasn't known. Well, they kind of leaked it by accident. But realistically, it wasn't supposed to be known in terms of who Bates' competitor was going to be. Actually, who was even going to be competing in this match until yesterday when it was Trent Seven versus Pete Dunne for the number one contendership, and then Tyler Bate versus, I can't remember the guy's name, but for the championship. So that was when it was declared who the match was going to be tonight. But I guess in my predictions Tuesday night, I already mentioned it was going to be Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate because, that's what the internet stated. It was a match for the ages, I think. This match overtook and topped the match from the UK tournament, and it ended up coming out with Pete Dunne beating Tyler Bate with the bitter end.
Yes, and this match had everything. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of great technical wrestling, but they had some brawling, like you mentioned. They had some high flying. What in the world was that move called that Tyler Bate pulled off where he did that 450 corkscrew looking butt splash or whatever he did?
I don't even know. It was a corkscrew 450 splash.
He just landed on him butt first on his stomach. It looked like it's like, man, to knock the wind out of him for sure. Still kicks out, doesn't lose from it. But overall, I mean, that was the match that kept me on the edge of my seat tonight for sure. Well, that's one of two matches that kept me on the edge of my seat. We'll say that was one of two.
But it's funny because to me, these guys are kids.
Oh yeah, I would. They're both
kids.
20 years old, right?
Let's put it this way. In my area, Tyler Bate is 19. Pete Dunne is 20. Let's put it this way, Chris. Around my neck of the woods, it is senior prom, okay? I watched two of my neighbors who are 18 years old going to senior prom. And they're gorgeous, mind you. But I'm looking at them, and I'm like, these are kids. Now, that doesn't really reflect on what I just said. I'm making a general statement. Because they're that much younger than you and I. And that is how old these two men are that just competed for the United Kingdom Championship.
And they already put a match on like they're in their prime. Like they've been around for years.
Right.
They look like they've been around for years already on the wrestling circuit, had made names for themselves already, and were like very professional and everything. Didn't look like hardly any mistakes at all with these guys. It was very awesome.
Right. And let's put it this way. Here in the States, I don't know what it is there. The age is there. But here in the States, these guys can't even go into a damn bar and have a drink. And they're over here winning championship gold and putting on 20, 25-minute, 5-star matches that you see seasoned veterans like Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens putting on, or Shinsuke and AJ Styles, which we know is going to happen, okay? But these are matches that were equivalent to what Finn Balor and Roman Reigns put on Monday night. They're equivalent to matches that AJ Styles and John Cena put on at WrestleMania last year. This is what these guys are doing.
Now, let me ask you a question. About this match, then we'll move forward to the next one here. Do you think this is one of those matches that Randy Orton and Rip Rogers was tearing on right now? Do you think this is one of those type matches, or do you think that this is just an outstanding wrestling match that they would even make them proud?
Randy Orton's probably right now eating his own words because he's realized that these guys will out-wrestle him. And you know what? Randy Orton's got a lot of nerve and a lot of balls because these guys that he's bragging and raw dogging on through Twitter and everything about dive, all you do is this, that, and the other thing. he better watch his goddamn mouth because now they're on the same roster as him, and one of them's liable to punch him in his teeth.
And it's just the match they had is better. This one match tonight they've had is better than any Randy Orton match I have seen in his tenure in the WWE. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but in my eyes, it's a better match than he ever had with anybody over the years.
I don't know. That match against Triple H at WrestleMania 24 was pretty damn good.
It was good, but I still wouldn't put it over this. These two guys, there was just something about the chemistry they had with each other in that match. It just stood out, and they were great. And it's almost just one of those matches you would have loved to have watched another 15. You would have loved to have seen these two in a Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat 60-minute marathon match. I mean, you just want to see that.
Iron Man match. But as much speaking of wanting things to keep going on, unfortunately, we cannot go on with this match any longer. But, ladies and gentlemen, your new United Kingdom Championship is the Bruiserweight himself, Pete Dunne. So I would like to move on to the next match, and that would be Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, and Asuka. Oh. You know what? There's just something weird about Nikki Riott, Nikki Cross, too. She's at, like, dirty, whorish trailer park trash next door, but I would still, like, do dirty things. But anyway, look, I'm still keeping it PG-13.
And they had Ember Moon watching from a distance. I mean, she's watching from the, from like one of the suites. It looked like she's looking down on them, and like, watching the match, wishing she could be there.
Right, but this match, it was. Oh my God, the match was really good. I was actually expecting it not to be as good. But in the same turn, I knew it was going to be something good because Nikki Cross has shown a lot of promise. Ruby Riott is, an independent darling, used to go by the name of Heidi Lovelace. So she's had her massive battles against people like Jessica Mayhem in the independent circuit. And Jessica Mayhem is not exactly a small woman, so she's handled women bigger than her. And of course, Asuka, need I say?
They make her out to be unbeatable, like I said before, 100% of the time. And I am glad of one thing. I mean, I am glad that she at least sold some of the stuff in this match, although there was a few times she just completely no-sold some of the stuff that happened. But
here's the problem. I feel that Nikki and Ruby sold this match themselves. They carried it.
I'll be honest with you, I was for Nikki Cross to win. I don't know why.
I was for Ruby Riott to win.
But I don't know why. I didn't think Ruby Riott would be a good fit right now. I just didn't. I thought Ruby Riott I thought would have been better was Nikki Cross to win and Ruby Riott to start chasing her for the title and Asuka just to go ahead and just get bumped on up and get her out of there. Just get it over with. I know they're not going to do it for a while. I know that, but I mean, still, just speed your table up on her, get her bumped up, and get these two facing each other for that title back and forth a little bit, and bring a couple of the other girls on up some. You still got Peyton and
Billy Kay. You got Liv Morgan. You got Ember Moon. You got
right. You still got women there.
You got Lacey Evans. You've got Lacey Evans. Oh, there's an airplane spin. I mean, you got Candice LeRae that just got signed to NXT. You've got Kimber Lee, who has been signed to NXT. And these are other.
The point is, they got
internet.
Enough people though. They have enough women to go ahead and carry this for them now. They don't have to have Asuka there no more. I just say go ahead and bump her on up. It would have been great to have Ruby Riott. Nikki Cross to win and Ruby Riott start chasing her until she gets a chance to win it. Because, you should always have a babyface chasing a heel for a while, it seems like, when it comes to the title. And that would have been great to see.
Yeah, but here's the question. We've already stated this. It's not a matter of – it's always a heel takes off a face takes off the heel. But what the hell is Asuka anymore? Is she a face? Is she a heel? If she's a heel, obviously you're going to want a face take it off, which is going to be Ruby Riott. If she's a face, then you're obviously going to want to heel like Nikki. Huh?
It doesn't have to go that way in a triple threat, though. That's the great thing about a triple threat or a fatal four way. It doesn't have to
But if
be a
history
face that
shows,
takes the
that's
belt.
what always happens. But I get that. But you've always got the in-betweener. But as well as I do, it's always still falls into that play anyway. But leading to the end of the night, it ended up being Asuka pinning them both to remain undefeated. And the only reason I would like to say the end of this, and the only reason I'm giving this match results already, is because of the fact that we only have about 22 minutes left. The next two matches, we really need to get to. Because our next match, which really threw me off because there was rumors circulating, and I read earlier this week that Tommaso Ciampa was injured. They threw up the X, and he literally said, "Get me out of here, I'm hurt."
Yeah.
Now, who knew what was going on? Because there was rumors circulating about something else, which I will get to in the last match. And I don't know if you saw what I'm talking about a certain somebody doing a certain something, leading into a certain direction. But we're going to get to that, all right? But this next match was for the NXT Championship, and it was Hideo Itami, who has been battling a, 3-4 year rise to the top, but he's always getting derailed. He's watched everybody pass him by, and yet he was the first NXT guy to show up in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
It's been a while for him, for sure.
Right. I mean, he's watched Breeze go to the main roster. He's watched the 4 Horsewomen go to the main roster. Finn Balor, Joe, he's watched all of them win the gold. All right. Well, he takes on the glorious one, Bobby Roode. Why don't we have a glorious audio clip on here? You're fired.
We still need to, I know, I'm fired. I'll just quit. I almost got quit.
Listen,
lay me off.
I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to give you a list of freaking clips, and you're going to be in charge of getting them because that's your job.
Well, thanks, Boss Ray, for taking over all of a sudden. I appreciate that.
No, I'm kidding. You're the one. I don't have the ability to get the clips, so you do. So.
Yes, I know, but you should write some down. Let me know what would be some ones you'd like to see, so I can look at those. So that'd be good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Plus, we need some new commercials. We need some commercials like this.
Hey, what's up, players? This is Teddy Long, and you're listening to Body Slam, the competition. You got my man Chris, and you got my man Mike. Holla, holla, players.
I see, Ray, if you'd been here, he'd had his man Ray, too, but you wasn't here at that time, were you?
Right, I wasn't his man yet. So, but anyway, we have him facing Bobby Roode. And that match, Jesus Christ. I mean, at one point, I really thought Bobby Roode's arm was going to fall off because Hideo Itami made that a focal point. It looked like he was going to kill him. It just, I can't even begin to comprehend. If anybody saw that Roderick Strong match against Hideo or seen the Shinsuke match against Bobby Roode, this just trumped them all. This, by far, was Bobby Roode's best match in NXT.
Yes. Hands down. No doubt about that. I mean, it was a great match through and through. And that whole bit working on the left arm will remind me of classic Arn Anderson. Taking the arm and working on it, beating down the shoulder, kicks to the shoulder, punches to the shoulder blade, arm bar.
Roode sold it well, too. He sold it real well. At one point, he went shoulder first into the steel steps, and Hideo Itami went to do a a running drop kick to him, and he moved, and it looked like Hideo hurt his ankle, but Roode was still complaining, "Ow, my shoulder," and he couldn't even pick him up for the glorious DDT.
Right, looked like he tried to, but could not keep him up long enough to make it worth the while, and he let go of him. But at the same time, when it come to Itami, he doing a drop kick into the steps hurt his foot or his ankle in some way, and could not put the weight of Roode on his shoulders to get that move on him either at first. So I mean, it went both ways.
He couldn't get the GTS, which he's already told CM Punk that he invented. Which, by the way, CM Punk was offered $1 million to step into the 132 five-star tournament. I hope he says yes. But did you see the tweet from somebody to CM Punk? He said, I'll offer you $1.1 million and half of a Wawa hoagie.
I did not. I had to look for it, though.
Wawa is my neck of the woods, and CM Punk said, I will take half the money up front and half that Wawa hoagie now.
I'd love to see him get back into wrestling, even though he had some bad things to say on his way out. I would like to see him back.
He'll do $1 million, he'll do it. But anyway, so this match was just, like you said, Hideo couldn't even get him up for the GTS. Finally, he caught him with a GTS, and Rude kicked out. He tried to catch him with another one. Bobby Roode reversed him and hit him with 2 consecutive glorious DDTs and got the win. He defeated Hideo Itami.
Man, was that not? I mean, the glorious DDT. The first one he hit 3 on him in the match. He got the 1 on him he kicked out of. And then he come back later and he hit that 1, but immediately picked him up. I mean, he got right back up with him and picked him up for a quick second one. And when he hit the second one, it looked like the way Tommy sold it. It looked like it just jolted through his body when he hit face first in that mat. That you knew he was out at that point when that second one hit. The body, I mean, it gave it away for sure. But that was something.
That was one hell of a NXT Championship match. I mean,
and like you said, that's Rude's best match in NXT so far to date, no doubt. You're correct on that.
That's probably, in my opinion, the best NXT Championship match I've seen since Shinsuke and Joe, number 1.
No doubt. Now, before we go to the last match of the night, and we could probably talk the 16 minutes left and add 15 more to it if we wanted to on this one, but I think what the people out there really want to know is, what is Ray having for dinner tonight? Because you called in dinner, you said. You didn't cook. What did you call in? I mean, what kind of food did we go with for NXT night?
I went with a chicken parm fra Diablo, and it is a chicken. It is chicken that is cooked in Diablo sauce, put onto a 10-inch sub roll or hoagie roll or hero roll, depending on where you're listening from, and smothered in more Diablo sauce with mozzarella cheese and then baked.
Okay, I'm not there, and I already have reflux from listening to that. So
it really wasn't that spicy, dude.
That's a bit much of the Diablo. You're talking to a man that puts
sriracha and hot sauce on just about every kind of meat there is.
All right. Well, Sriracha Man, let's move to the last match of the night here. We just hit the 15-minute mark and went under. We got the tag team titles, DIY against Authors of Pain, and a ladder match. Now, when we think ladder match, the first thing that comes to mind to any WWE fan is Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. Easily, hands down, those two teams. And you can even throw in the Dudleys as well because of the little 3-way deal they had going a while back. That's what we always think of.
Look,
I do anyway when I hear ladder match.
You know what? This match, first of all, is the first ever tag team title ladder match in NXT history.
Correct. First one. Ever. It won't be the last at this point. It ain't gonna be the last. No. After. But then again, will the next two teams be able to top what we've seen tonight on this ladder match? Because
there's literally and virtually no way, because it was, like Chris said, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano versus Akam and Razar of the Authors of Pain. Now, when this match was announced, the grins that came across DIY's face. Now, they're figuring size difference, they have it. But you look at the size of the Authors of Pain, you just gave them weapons. And at their size,
and I thought the same thing.
They can wield those weapons.
I was thinking all it would take is one well-placed ladder shot, and Johnny Gargano took a well-placed ladder shot to the face. I thought they uppercutted him with that ladder.
Jaw.
Yes, they uppercutted him with that ladder. I thought he was just knocked out.
Dude, I thought I saw a tooth fly out.
You very well may have.
Go back and watch, and when they show the replay of that in slow-mo, you really look like you see a tooth fall out.
I don't doubt it.
But that match was just, I mean, at one point, you had Gargano flying through ladders, okay, who had, I mean, brutality with ladders in general, all right? You ended up with ladders being stretched from the ring to the barrier with Authors of Pain on the ladders and DIY climbing to the top of what I believe was a 20-foot ladder. Might have been more, 25, 30 foot, I don't know. But they climbed to the top of it and both did frog splashes onto the Authors of Pain. One ladder snapped, the other one they just bounced. And I thought Gargano was going to land on his head. And they still got up fighting. Then Authors of Pain take over and brutalize DIY. And finally, DIY gets them down. And you've got Gargano trying to climb the ladder. And out of nowhere comes Paul Ellering. And what does he get for his trouble? Super kicked. Well, the Authors of Pain are not liking that. And they demolish Johnny Gargano. Well, in the midst of it, they're all down. DIY, is down, and the Authors of Pain are trying to climb a ladder. Now, there is a ladder set up in the corner. Ciampa comes out of nowhere and belly-to-back suplexes, or it was a form of a German or something, one of the Authors of Pain through the ladder and literally explodes the ladder. I mean, snaps it 100%, no bending. I mean, disconnected it and made it into 4 pieces. And they get a ladder again, and they're brawling. And finally, the Authors of Pain get the best of DIY. They try to hit Tommaso Ciampa with a ladder. Gargano moves him out of the way, like shoves him out the way, and catches a ladder to the jaw, like an uppercut, like Chris said. I thought he broke his jaw.
Man. It hurt me looking at it.
But in the long run, it came down to the Authors of Pain bested DIY, and it came down to the fact that DIY were both on top of the ladders trying to grab the belt. The Authors of Pain pushed the ladder out of the way and double powerbombed them and climbed the ladder and got the belts. And in good fashion, DIY hugs.
And I got to say this,
friend, Tommaso Ciampa was.
I got to say something, Ray. The power bomb they did, it's like they initially went for that double where they I don't forget what they call it, but they slam them into each other first and then power bomb them, right? They messed up at the first one trying to get that done. The Super Collider. They messed up on the Super Collider, and that's what puts them on top of the ladders, basically, to get there and grab those belts and go hanging, wasn't that the part right there, or am I forgetting something in between? Because they almost had them based off that screw-up right there, it seemed like. And they knocked the ladder down where they can't get it, and they're just dangling above from there. And then they go and pull them down, powerbomb them, pick them up, do the Super Collider anyway, which looked kind of weak, but still powerbomb them again. So 2 power bombs in a row from them, very powerful back-to-back, and allowed them to climb up there and get the belts with no problem whatsoever.
And of course it looked super weak because look what the hell they were bid through. I mean, this brawl, this ladder match, was like almost a 45-minute long ladder match. But like I said, in the end, DIY lost, and they walked up
before we get to this point. But before we get to the end part here, did you have any thoughts whatsoever that DIY, if they lost this match, that perhaps it was time for them to move on because of the new tag teams that have hit the scene that will be facing Authors of Pain? Did you have any thoughts of that whatsoever, or did you?
I thought
I
it
did
was
too.
going
That
to
was
be
my
them
thought.
moving on to the main roster.
Yes, that's what I thought too. I thought, man, this is it.
But,
They're saying their goodbyes to the crowd. You know, it's been great, people. It's been good seeing you.
It was it. But here's the thing: in Tommaso Ciampa's mind, this is it for the tag team. Johnny Gargano, you done messed up and cost us the match, and I'm done with you. And just destroyed. I mean, the second Tommaso Ciampa blasted Gargano and slammed him into the backdrop of the entranceway, I literally just shot up. And I'll tell you right now, I am not a fast-moving man. I am a C4, C5 quadriplegic. So I move a little gingerly. I swear to you, I shot up like my house was on fire and I was getting robbed at the same time. Okay? Like I needed the nearest exit. Because when this happened, I was literally beside myself because this is my team. These are my guys.
Look, and look, for everybody listening.
To me, this was, well, wait a minute. To me, this was the barber shop all over again.
Yes.
This was Michael Jannetty all over again. This was the Hardy Boys when they split the first time. Actually, it wasn't even that. This was legit the barber shop.
And I got to say this, to everybody listening here, this is how good of a co-host this person is. I'm sending him messages on Facebook. I had paused the Bobby Roode match to go grab something from the kitchen. It took me longer than expected, and I came back and was catching up to it. And I told him, I said, well, you know, it's almost over. You know, I'll be there in just, I'll be done with this in a minute. We'll talk about it. He's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? He took a great ladder shot just then. He's like, oh my God, like I still haven't seen this yet. And then it hit me what happened when I was watching it. I sent him a message. I was like, what the hell did I just see? And he's like, finally, you know, you got there. I mean, oh my God,
right.
I could not. I completely threw me off
it because I played along. I played along with the whole because I made up think that I was at that point too. You know?
It threw me off completely. It did. I wasn't expecting that at all. I completely thought they would go to the main roster and we would see some more DIY revival confrontations. That's what I thought happened.
No, but you know what we ended up seeing? We ended up seeing Tommaso Ciampa hit the running knee onto Johnny Gargano onto the table, the announcer's table, and as Ciampa sits there, you hear, F you. You know what? I'm just going to say it. And you know what? Blog Talk can get mad at me for it. Fuck you, Ciampa. That's
what they were
was.
doing.
And you're an asshole. And holy shit, because Ciampa sat there. Gargano didn't know where he was. He was grasping, trying to like put his head on Ciampa's lap, and Ciampa's just staring down. And he had enough of it again. And picked him up and did white noise off of the announce table through leapt off of the announce table through two more tables and shattered the tables and got up and walked away and just sat there and stared at Gargano as they put him in a neck brace and put him on a stretcher. And
now, it's pretty obvious.
Was his best friend. He was the best man at Gargano's wedding. This was
how long do you
Sami
see
Zayn,
this playing out?
Kevin Owens version 2.0.
Yes. How long do you see this playing out, you think, before they go off at each other? It's gonna, because he has to sell that injury for a little bit at least.
Script-wise, kayfabe? Wait. Kayfabe or non-kayfabe?
Well, I'd say kayfabe for sure, because they're not going to be back for at least a week. He ain't coming back next week off of it.
All right, storyline-wise, I think Ciampa had it in his mind for a little while because he said one way or the other this rivalry is going to end. But when I got the reports this week that Ciampa was injured, there was also I can't remember what her name is, but she had tweeted that she was laying down the vocals for Johnny Gargano's new entrance theme, and that quickly got pulled off of Twitter. So I had a feeling that when Ciampa got injured, it was that bad where Gargano is going to have to run it solo. But then I thought about it, and maybe Ciampa being injured was in Ciampa's mind to throw Gargano off the scent.
Could be. But I will tell you what, that's the biggest swerve they've had in a while that actually got me. Usually, we kind of see these things coming, and we even call it. But man, that swerve got me right there. I didn't see it coming at all.
It's like when Joe turned on Balor. It's like when Kevin Owens hugged Sami Zayn, congratulated him on winning the NXT Championship, and then blasted him and powerbombed him.
Let's see, when it comes to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that was even believable that it would happen. I mean, that wasn't that big of a secret or well hidden, really.
But
you kind of felt like it could happen.
As that was. Okay, how about this? When Corey Graves attacked Neville.
I didn't see those matches, so I couldn't tell you about those. That's before me.
All right.
That's before I watched them. But you made an excellent reference with Michaels and Jannetty earlier. I didn't see that coming either when it happened, and that shocked me at the time. So anyway, very controversial ending of the show.
This match is going to go down, and it's going down in Brooklyn.
Well, it's going to be, and when it happens,
I can guarantee it.
It's going to be one of those pay-per-views probably where we're like, I don't think NXT's ever had a better pay-per-view than this. We're going to be saying it again probably when these two meet each other. And then when they finally move up to that main roster and get off NXT, what direction do you think they're going to take them at that point? Will either of them go? Do you think both will go there, or one of them will go there?
They're both going to 205 Live, considering the fact that they were both, they were both in the tournament. But we got about 90 seconds left. So, any thoughts tomorrow night?
Man, we don't have enough time to cover tomorrow night. Let's just say it's going to be a great show to watch, we hope. And we're going to watch it, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Ray is not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be myself and Mike. Ray, give us a rundown of what you think since you're not going to be here.
What's that?
I said, give us a rundown of what you think is going to happen since you won't be here tomorrow.
Oh, I already gave my predictions Tuesday.
Oh, well, in that case, then, I don't have to worry about it then.
But in that case, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you can catch us on iTunes. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at BodySlamTheComp. Follow me on Twitter at JetsMan84. Follow us on Instagram, BodySlamTheCompetition. Facebook, BodySlamTheCompetition. YouTube at BodySlamTheCompetition.com. Don't forget to check out our Patreon page. You can find that on our Blog Talk profile page. And don't forget to hit that follow on Blog Talk. And
one last thing, Ray. When you go to iTunes, if you do download us from iTunes, like somebody I know did earlier today, please make sure you leave us a review on there as well about the show. If you like the show already and you're downloading it, if you do give us a review on there, it helps us in our rating on iTunes. That would be greatly appreciated.
So for Chris Adams, I am Ray Filipino. Tomorrow night will be Chris Adams and Mike Kearns for the Backlash Review Show. And I, ladies and gentlemen, will see you Monday night for our Monday night review. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.